Okay, so this is the last video in our article marketing training series where we're presenting information around article marketing in particular as a key and vital marketing method for promotion of any and all websites out there. We asked the question in the last video of how do we create sustainable article content? Now, let's address that first with some facts. Articles take time and money to create. Whether or not you're doing them yourselves or outsourcing them, you have to monitor the outsourcing, you have to write content yourself, you have to pay for this to get done. Those are all important factors, and your time is money. Now, once you create this content, submission of that content in and of itself is going to take time, especially when it's done right. We also talked about link weights. Links are not weighted heavily due to out of context placement about the author box itself, which creates an issue in the not just the sustainability but the effectiveness of article marketing itself. But the bigger issue, and I'd say the biggest issue, is that eventually Google will remove websites with multiples of your content to which ends up reducing the number of backlinks to your website. With all this in mind and all these facts in mind, the easiest and the best way to leverage the content that you have and to decrease these issues that we've talked about here for traditional marketing is actually article spinning. And by spinning, what we're talking about is actually rewriting your existing content or creating multiple versions of your existing content. Now, let's just walk through a very quick example. So, let's say you've gone out and you've written an article. Your article's on shoes, because we talked about running shoes before. So you take your article, and rather than just having 7 articles written on running shoes, why not just take your running shoe article and create multiple versions of that article by rewriting the title and the body content? So in terms of Google, it looks at duplicate content. Now I'm saying that in quotes, duplicate content, because again, there is no duplicate content filter. What there is a competition filter. So you're competing for the same exact content on multiple sites. Now, by creating multiple versions of your content, by altering the title, altering the body content, just a sentence here, a sentence there, this modifies the chances of you actually getting picked up and removed from the index with the same exact article because you've changed both the title, and we know that the title tag and alterations in the title tag are one of the biggest things that keeps you out of basically what's seen as the supplemental index anymore, but also it's one of the biggest things which will not flag you for competing with another site for the same exact piece of content. So this is kind of the hub of article spinning. Now, how you really ramp it up is that by creating these multiple versions, you submit them to unique directories. So essentially you're submitting unique content to unique directories. So you take that one article now, turn it into a bunch of articles, maybe 3 or 4 even, and you submit those out to unique directories. And now instead of having that one article, now you have several versions of your article all working to build backlinks for you. So now you have more unique content, you decrease the chance of getting backlinks filtered out, and you get a heck of a lot more usage out of one single piece of content. So you can see how you're leveraging both your time and your money very effectively. So my initial take on article spinning as a whole, and I'm wholly admitting this, is that A, it was a waste of time. It produced low value content. So if you use some of the early article spinners, they would go through and they would automate the process, and they would just kind of switch out adjectives or change out nouns for other nouns, and then you go back and you read it. And ultimately, it wouldn't make sense. And just from an SEO standpoint, and this was in the first video that we talked about here, content is king, and junk content is absolutely worthless to you. Producing content that does nothing for end users does nothing for you in terms of SEO. And I'd say the same exact thing with article spinning. If you spin an article and it ends up being junk, it's not going to help your search engine rankings, and it will not bring you any additional traffic. So article spinning has a perception of being poor crap content, but in reality what you're doing is you're taking your quality content and just tweaking it and rewording it and rephrasing it. You're not decreasing the quality of it, you're decreasing your risk of getting picked up or getting removed from those multiple locations that you once had with that single piece of content. I mean, and this is kind of still a standing issue. It would take me just as much time and just as much money to produce brand new content as it would to spin content with the current applications that are out there. So, is article spinning worth it? And in reality, absolutely. Up and down, every single time I've had this argument with myself and I've looked at results that I've seen with these multiple articles, because I know how effective a single article will be. If I take that single article and multiply it by 4, then of course it's worth it. Absolutely, it's worth it. Now, there's a lot of resources out there right now that can help you with the spinning process. So, for instance, Article Apps. It's a free resource which helps the process of rewriting your content itself. But, of course, you have to ask this question as we evolve as marketers. Is there a better, more effective way to do this? Spinning definitely does help resolve some issues, and the biggest of all is reducing the number of backlinks. It gets rid of that, not entirely, but it definitely lessens the severity of that reduction in backlinks that you will get over time from Google. But it doesn't get rid of the time and the money aspect, because I still have to go through the process of rewriting my content. So either I'm personally doing that, which is time, or I'm paying somebody else to rewrite my content, which is money. It also doesn't eliminate the submission process, which also takes time and also takes money. This becomes yet another issue because my time is money, so now I'm still wrestling with the fact that I have to deal with this extra time and this extra money I have to spend to make article spinning an effective means for me. Now, the last one, and I consider this to be a very important one, is that you still don't resolve the issue of link weighting. So you don't get rid of the issue about the author box, and the sheer fact that about the author box is placed so low down on the page and on your content. Ask yourself the question, what if you had a tool that streamlines the spinning process, automates syndication, and increases the value of backlinks that you do get in Google? So when you're working to spin this content and you are spending the money and the time to go through that, when you're getting those links, they mean something to you. They will mean traffic, and more importantly, they will mean rank, which also means traffic. So more traffic, better rank. These are good things for us. So your answer to this process is seolinkvine, and the beauty of seolinkvine is it really just gets rid of all those issues that you have with traditional article syndication. Now you can syndicate to a massive network of blogs, not article directories, blogs, and this gives you tons of advantages, which we talked about. One of the biggest ones being that you're getting in-context links. These are anchor text links that are in the body of the article, not in the actual About the Author section, which Google will tend to devalue. The more content and links are embedded together, the more relevance Google gives them, so the more value they'll push back to you. Syndication is totally automated, so you don't have to go through the process of sending out articles and sending out your spun version of articles. As soon as you load an article into the system, specify what locations you want it to end up in, what categories, then it's automatically sent out every single time a new blog shows up or a new site shows up, or a site that's already in the network specifies it wants content from that category. You can spin titles, body text, links, and anchor text super simply. So unlike some of the other article spinners out there, this one is cake. The flaws of article marketing are totally resolved with a tool like this. Now let's just look at what we've been able to do. So we went out, we built up a site, 3 months old. We went from 257 to 28,000 links, and just imagine being able to do that. We went from position number 69 to position number 3 for a very competitive keyword phrase. And what's the result? We went from 0 traffic to almost 3,000 visits a day. So what are we talking about? We're really talking about just really expanding your online empire. So taking this single piece of content that you worked really hard to generate, write yourself, and getting more value of it. And so instead of just one piece of content, you spun it to multiple versions. And then these multiple versions get sent out to multiple locations. So instead of just having one link per article, now your versions are syndicated out and different versions of your articles are sent out to different sites. So you have blogs sending you backlinks with unique titles, whereas before you were getting only a few backlinks. Now you're getting tons of backlinks. And not only does it give you a lot of backlinks, it does it for a lot less work. So let's take a look at seolinkvine really quickly, and you can see how easy this system is to use and how quickly it can work for you. Okay, so in seolinkvine, it's broken up into two main parts. The first part is where you can go out and you can build out your own depot of free content from other users. So you can go in, you can build out a site, and you can start receiving free content instantly. Now that's just one part of the system itself. Now the other part, and where most people are really going to get the most benefit, is by submitting articles and getting linked. Now if you want to go in and you want to put in an article, you just go in and you're pasting in your content. And if you've ever used WordPress, ever used any kind of HTML editor, then you know how to use this tool already. So I'm going to show you exactly how easy this is with an article that we've already put into the system. So you can see I have some in. You can see how many times these were published. Now if I go to this article, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Edit. Now this particular article is organized based on a project name, which keeps you super organized. So when you're doing a massive set of submissions for a particular project, you can organize it based on any name that you specify. Or if you want to just keep your articles or your projects organized, this gives you the opportunity to do so. Now let's say you want to go ahead and you want to spin a title. Here's my original title. If I want to spin more titles, just click this little plus here and I specify a new title. It's that easy. You don't have to actually put in any kind of code or anything like that. Just write in your new title and then go ahead. You have another spun version of your title here. Now let's say you want to spin content. Now the article body section here is editable just like any other kind of WordPress type system. You have bold, italics, all of the normal functions that you would expect to see in an article editor, but where you have benefits is in the spinning capabilities of the system. So you can go in, you can paste your article content in from any other system, but say you want to start spinning content. You can first use the thesaurus function and you can specify how aggressive you want to be, low being not a lot of words, medium a few more, and then aggressive actually being quite a few terms that you're deciding to spin. Now when I pick the thesaurus option, it just highlights all the potential words that I could potentially spin. So if I want to spin this word, for instance, I get all these variations. I can select as many as I want, or I can select all of them and click OK. Now the system in seolinkvine has already spun these for me. I don't actually have to put the code in myself. So this is a super simple way to start spinning content using the thesaurus function. Now if you want to actually go through and you want to spin larger blocks of content, you can go through and you can do so with the rewrite text option. So if I wanted to rewrite this portion, I'd highlight it, hit rewrite text. It says exercise is exercise no matter how slow it is. And then I can just specify another sentence. Just like that. So this is probably one of the easiest article spinners. You can see I have my anchor text listed here. Super simple. If you want to anchor text something, just highlight the word, click on the little chain link, put in your URL, and you're done. That's super simple. I have one here, and then I have another one down here. I'm anchor text linking to my home page, also anchor text linking to my sub pages. Exactly the best practices that you would want to use when you're doing article marketing. Notice I don't even really have to use an about the author section in this type of thing because it's getting sent out to blogs. It's not getting sent out to directories. So in and of itself, this content's already in a position where it looks like the author of the blog actually created the content, which gives me more potential for click-through. It's not me trying to market my content on somebody else's site. It's me working within a group of other users to share content and giving us all a better chance to succeed. Now, so I have my article. I've spun as much of this content as I could possibly spin. Super easy with the thesaurus function. I've rewrote text portions of it. Then I want to go through. Now I can select article categories. Now, unlike other systems, so if this is a cardio article, I can go through in the health and fitness section. I know this has to do with aerobics, anti-aging, beauty, building muscle, as many of these categories as I want to select. And then what happens is that when people who have a blog who say I want content on beauty, my article gets sent to them for approval and posting. So unlike other systems, I'm not going to just one category, I'm covering multiple categories. I can specify when I want to start publishing this, how many times I want my article requested per day to help control its release. So instead of saying, put it out there to thousands and thousands of blogs or sites at once, I want this only to go out once per day. Or I can say twice or up to 10 times per day. And I can also specify a maximum number of times I want this published. So I can say after this article is published 100 times, then I don't want it published again. Then I can go through, I can use my keyword tags, which I usually use my anchor text for, and then I can also specify to not publish this to sites that I have in the system. So I can go ahead and hit Save Article. I'm not going to publish it right now just because it's a demo. And then when I go through and I hit View, you can see why diet interval training keeps the weight off. So this is my one version. You can see text has been rewritten 16%. Obviously, the higher this number is, the better. And a lot of times this only takes like 5 to 10 minutes in the system. And then if I hit Spin Article, you can see my title has changed, and if you go through, you can see there's different versions of the text in there spun based on the thesaurus and the rewrite text function. I hit Spin Article again. You can see another new title. So right there, I've specified 4 different versions of my article just by going in, specifying new text here and there, specifying new sentences here and there, and I do it really quickly, and it's still quality content, so it's not junk spun content. So this system really and truly will allow you to get the most out of your article content and allow you to spin content very quickly and very effectively versus other systems. Now the other part that's super awesome is the stats function, and I don't want to go too much into that except to say that you can go through and you can track exactly where your articles are ranking based on how your keywords are performing, how many times you've gotten more links from the terms that you're trying to optimize for. And it does this in a very, very automated fashion. But I'm not going to show you all that. You have to see that once you go into seolinkvine. But suffice to say, you can track all aspects of this system and exactly see how effective your article marketing tools are working for you. Whereas with a lot of other systems, once you put it out there, it's gone and you can't do anything about it. So that's seolinkvine, and this is exactly how you're going to get some really high quality one-way links very simply and very quickly.